How's it going, everybody? Too Spooky here, and welcome back to Nen Explained, a series where we go over the various Nen abilities and how they work. In this installment, we're going to be talking about another Chimera Ant Royal Guard, this time being Menthuthuyoupi. To start with a general overview, if you've watched the series, which you better have if you're watching this video, you should know that the Chimera Ant Royal Guards are insanely powerful beings. An example to prove that would be the fact that Colt figured Netero would end up being killed by one of these Royal Guards before he ever reached the king, which is notable considering Netero is one of the strongest Nen users in the entire world, even in his old age. Another good example of Youpi's overwhelming strength in particular would be something he said while facing Killua. During their fight, he mentioned how all the opponents he's faced thus far haven't even had a tenth of the overall power that he does, which made him very confused because he had all this power but he still couldn't do a single thing to fight back against them. So with that comment in mind, Youpi is basically more than 10 times stronger than almost any above average or expert Nen user just with his physical power alone. Youpi is the youngest of the 3 Royal Guards, and what is most unique about him compared to the other Royal Guards would be the fact that he doesn't have any human genes like the others. Instead, he was created from the genes of a magical beast. However, what type of magical beast has never been specified. Even so, Youpi still retains many human-like characteristics. Although we could go over some more elements of Youpi's background, such as his incredible speed, strength, and durability, I think it's fairly obvious already that he's an absolute powerhouse without even getting into too many details. So with that out of the way, let's talk about his Nen. To start, Youpi's Nen type is Enhancement, making him an Enhancer. Similar to the other Royal Guards, he was born with the ability to use Nen, although it's not known if he has full control of the basic principles or the advanced techniques. When it comes to his Nen ability or hatsu, the first thing to mention is his ability to transform his body in various ways, which is generally known as Metamorphosis, but it's never really been given an official name. At first glance, you'd think that this ability to manipulate any part of his body would possibly be just an inherent ability from his magical beast lineage. However, this is indeed a Nen ability that he was born with. It's never been revealed what Nen type this ability falls under, but I'd bet that it's probably Enhancement considering Youpi himself is an Enhancer. The earliest example of Youpi using this ability was revealed shortly after Meruem was born, which was only shortly after Youpi's birth as well. After Poof spread his wings and began flying, Youpi used this ability to manipulate his body to create wings out of his back so that he could fly as well. The wings were basically a perfect replica right off the bat. However, because Youpi wasn't used to flying, he wasn't exactly able to fly very well at first. However, we saw other instances later where he could sprout wings with this ability whenever he wanted and could fly without any issue going forward. For combat purposes, we saw that Youpi can apply this ability to work for numerous situations. The main transformation he donned was creating multiple arms that he could attack with all at once. He mainly did this in a multiple of 6, along with creating multiple eyes around his upper body so that he could see everything happening in his blind spots to better direct the attacks from his arms. Additionally, Youpi was able to transform his hands into some sort of blade, so he could make his attacks even deadlier. He's also able to increase the size of his arms at an enormous rate, which in turn makes his attacks much more powerful and capable of causing massive amounts of damage from even a single strike. The final examples we've seen of this transformation ability involve spikes, as Youpi is able to not only produce large spikes out of his chest, but he's also able to produce what appears to be hundreds of small spikes out of his back in an instant, which travel incredibly fast. The only downfall of this particular transformation would be the fact that Youpi apparently needs a little bit of preparation to make it happen, but at most it's only a few extra seconds. Otherwise, he can generally manipulate his body instantaneously. So with that logic, we can rightfully assume that Youpi only needs prep time to transform if he's planning some sort of large-scale transformation. The only other thing to note about this ability would be that Youpi is able to completely liquefy his cells, which he did to feed his strength and body to Meruem so that he could live. Youpi was then forced to enter his chibi form to survive himself, as he gave Meruem the vast majority of his body. Youpi's next ability also doesn't have any official name, but it's been generally called Rage Blast, which is an emission ability. It's not really known if Youpi developed this Nen ability unintentionally, or if he's had this ability from the start, but during his battles against the various extermination team members, he was suffering from extreme mental stress because he wasn't able to defeat them like he expected. Eventually, he just had a mental breakdown that put him into a violent rage, which caused his body to very quickly increase in size, and also caused his aura to magnify at an alarming rate. The result of this causes Youpi's body to explode, causing massive damage to his immediate surroundings and to anyone unfortunate enough to be stuck in the blast. Immediately after the explosion, Youpi is reduced to a much smaller size, and all of his rage and stress that caused the explosion are just gone, which leaves Youpi feeling very empty and lost. That being said, directly after using this ability for the first time, Youpi was able to reach a moment of pure calmness and dedication, as he desperately wanted to find a way to make this new ability useful to Meruem. So the result of this epiphany was being able to control his emotions. So this ability can essentially be summed up with Youpi blowing his load, and then having some extreme post-nut clarity. Bruh. Jokes aside, the second time Youpi used this ability against Knuckle, he was under full control of his emotions the entire time, so he was able to anger himself enough to swell up like before, but right before he was set to explode, he was able to replace that anger with calmness, in turn immediately reverting himself back to his normal state without needing to actually explode. Youpi's final Nen ability also doesn't have an official name, go figure, but it's been generally known as Rageincarnate, or Rage Form. After coming to terms with his emotions by learning to control his rage and also keep a level head, Youpi was able to transform his body in a way that maximizes his two abilities. This transformation gave Youpi's body a centaur-like appearance, which was equipped with a large blade on one hand and a gigantic sack on his opposite arm, also giving him some sort of long helmet extension on his head. The gigantic sack on his arm served the purpose of collecting his rage, so essentially all of the wrath that swelled up his entire body to the point of exploding before was now directed into his left arm, which would eventually fill up completely with rage, and I guess with aura for that matter, which Youpi could then direct at his enemies in the form of a concentrated energy blast. After releasing the blast, his left arm would then deflate back to an empty sack, where it could continuously be filled up with rage and aura again and again. Because Youpi was also directing his rage into a separate area of his body, this also helped him keep a completely level head when attacking otherwise. The final things to note about this transformation would be the fact that Youpi is still able to transform his body while in this form. As we saw, he was able to produce wings after he set off to find Meruem. It's not exactly known if this form makes Youpi physically stronger than his normal self, or if it makes him any faster than normal, but because this form can also be seen as a manifestation of Youpi's personal growth, it's very possible that it could make his other qualities much stronger than normal. It's also unknown what Nen type this rage form falls under, but it's likely a mixture of emission and enhancement at least, but there could be a few other categories mixed in. But with all that, we've officially explained Youpi's Nen abilities. Hopefully you learned something new or found a better understanding of how his abilities work. If you did, well, make sure to drop a like. While you're at it, be sure to comment what characters and Nen abilities you would like to learn about next, and subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss the next installment of Nen Explained. Drop me a follow on Twitter at 2SpookyTube to keep up with the channel, and I quickly just wanted to say thank you all for being so patient. As I know, my upload schedule is a bit of a yikes right now. I've been going through a lot of personal life issues as of late, and it's really been doing a number on me, to be completely honest. But luckily, it looks like things are slowly getting back to normal, so hopefully you'll be seeing some more uploads coming soon. Just wish me luck getting through this chapter of my life, boys, cause I'm gonna need it. Thanks again for checking out this video today, and I'll see you all soon with the next one.